Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to honorable expert, Professor Dr. Renat Egi Kartini, and also our moderator, and as well as our speakers for today. Thank you for each of every one of you for being here with us today. We are very pleased to be able to welcome you that have been with us for a long time now, as well as those who are new to be a member of the National Battery Research Institute or the NBRI. Today, we are proud to be present the Millennial Talks, Researcher Hacks, Learn the Best from the East. My name is Sinta Widianingrum. I'm a secretary of the National Battery Research Institute, and it is an honor for me to be able to host this event today at this wonderful day with all of you. Before we started, for mutual convenience, allow me to read the rules for today. The event will be conducted from 8:30 a.m. until 11:45 a.m. Please mute yourself while you are not speaking, and unmute yourself and speak only when it is your chance to speak. All participants are encouraged to be able to actively ask questions or share their opinion during the event. Posting a picture of Zoom meeting throughout this workshop is not recommended unless you tag our @nbri.indonesia on your social media. There will be a random quiz with the special prize of us 50% off and until 100% discount for joining ISRUS 2021. During the Q&A sessions, please use the raise hand feature. The committee will recognize you and allow you to speak. The participants are requested to fill the attendance form that will share via chat box by the committee. If previously NBRI has discussions and school with experts from around the world, today we will learn more from the young scientists also from around the world. As a brief introduction, allow me to read the agenda for today. So we will start from the opening by our founder, Professor Dr. Renat Egi Kartini, and then continued by the discussions from Muhammad Fahmi Rahman from ULSA National Institute of Science and Technology, and then continued by our lovely team, Mr. Muhammad Ridho Nugraha, and then last but not least, from Mr. Egi Aditama from National Chao Tung University and University of Münster. Then we will continue by the question and answer sessions. But now I will not be alone because we will have our wonderful moderator. So our moderator for today is Mr. Muhammad Subhan Alkiana, Bachelor of Political Science. He is a corporate engagement of the National Battery Research Institute. Okay, so as one of the corporate engagement on the National Battery Research Institute, Mr. Muhammad Subhan Alkiana has graduated from University of Al-Azhar, Indonesia. Without further ado, to Mr. Muhammad Subhan, the virtual stage is all yours.
Halo, Sinta? Halo?
Nggak kedengeran.
Nggak kedengeran ya? Halo, nggak kedengeran ya? Hello?
Pardon, am I audible?
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Okay. Thank you for joining this session. It is a very honor for me once again to joining the Millennial Talks. And without a further ado, I will give the floor to Professor Dr. Ranat Evi Kartini as a founder of National Battery Research Institute to give her opening remarks.
Thank you, Subhan. Thank you, Sinta. Okay, can you hear me? Right?
Yes, Prof.
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Okay, good morning, everybody. Young millennial here. It's a pleasure for me to open this event. I think this is your event. Yeah, the idea, starting from the idea, who will be the speakers, and then I'm sure that, yeah, this team of NBRI Millennial like to have also, you know, a team, millennial from all over the world. I think this is what the topic for today's, and then I think yeah, the title of this Millennial Talks for today: Researcher Career Hacks, Learn the Best from the East. Oh, what it is this? And maybe Subhan can introduce that. Yeah. But according to the discussion that because the East Asia grown fastly, yeah, and then of course we have to learn how they can be a developed country, yeah, like Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and fortunately, we have a young millennial who study there. Okay, so they can, you know, share with you, yeah, the secret of the success of the other country. Yeah, but nonetheless, also we will have the Rido here. Yeah, so you will have Mr. Fahmi and Mr. Egi will share with you, yes, their experience, and also Mr. Rido will explain, yeah, what he has done during the half year in NBRI. Okay, so before that, allow me to show that yeah, maybe some of you will come sooner, yeah, based on the statistic who will attend this event. 67.8% all students. So it's great, okay? Yeah. And then some 8.9% are researchers, yeah. And then how about the age? Wow, the age is 18 to 25 years old. Oh, really millennial, okay? So I'm sure that I'm not be part of you, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then it's surprising me that not only from Indonesia, yeah, of course, Indonesia the majority, but we have also some millennial from other country, like from Singapore, UK, Canada, Australia, Philippines. So this is great. Okay. So we will meet from several countries and discuss what's going on. Okay. Okay. This is about the NBRI. Yeah, you may know NBRI. It's a platform that gathering, yeah, the researcher, the entrepreneur or industry, government, and yeah, like today what we have. Okay. From the young to the to the professional, we gather in NBRI. So NBRI was founded by me and Prof. Alan. Yeah, it was almost 2 years ago we started the activity, but our you know, our day is of the legal is 17 December 2020. So we will have the celebration, actually our first anniversary of the NBRI soon, yeah, in December. So for that, we have several events, you see, yeah, event to face this our first year, yeah, to mark our first year, including this today event, yeah. I will show you later on, okay. So this is our co-founder, Professor Alan Drew, and then welcome to you, okay, for your coming for this Millennial Talk, yeah. This is some of the millennials, yeah. Partly they already graduated, yeah, but yeah. So we are happy to be to welcome you to be part of us. And then this is the picture when Professor Drew came to Indonesia before pandemic, met the Minister of Research and Technology, and then and we have also audience with the head of BRAIN, yeah. And so we have the milestone, yeah. But the most important is the the human research, human resources, yeah. You are millennial. You have to be taught. You have to be, to have a vision, because the future will take, the future of a leader is in your hand. Yeah. So start now. You have to learn. Yeah. Don't wait. Okay. Because the world changed. Yeah. Okay. So what we will have in the first anniversary of NBRI? Yeah. So we have several activity, yeah, from a webinar, school, millennial. Today we have workshop, and then we have another millennial next week, and also we have the workshop of advanced material conference. And don't forget, we have also use idea competition. Yeah, so this is we have already passed this last week. Yeah. Launching our anniversary, and we just finished this SBAF with the speaker from UK and Australia too, and the expert. Yes. So wait for the next time. Yeah, we will have another school of the battery, but today we will have this, and then this IMAC. Okay, we will have this 1st and 2nd of December. Yeah, we will have the speaker from all over the world too. Yeah. So just wait, please also register. And then soon, next week on Tuesday, we will have the ISRIS. Maybe you want to know about what is the solar panel, what is the solar rooftop, how we calculate, how we put the energy, how you can invest for that. Yeah, just you will have this from the expert. Okay. Yeah, from Germany, from Singapore, and from Dutchland, and also from Indonesia. Yeah, so you will have this on Tuesday, and then this is one maybe for you, just idea competition. Yeah, so there will be two kind of first of the student paper presentation and microblog. The theme, it will be millennial, of course, fine. Yeah, and then the prize pool about 10 million. So there are many things that you have to wait for the millennial. Okay, yeah. Please join us. Please, the member of NBRI. There are a lot of activity with us. Once again, good luck for today. Millennial Talk. Yeah, Subhan. Yeah. So I think yeah, from Prof, it just thank you, and then yeah. Good evening and good for the Millennial Talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Effie, for the introduction. But before we continue, perhaps that the MC already mentioned about the quiz that has the price to 50 until 100% discount to join the ISROS, the next event of NBRI. Perhaps, Prof. Effie, we have the first quiz. The first one would be free pass to the participant who are correct to answer. But I would like to remind once again that all the participants here should raise hand first, and then the committee will choose which one of you, and please open your video and say your name and the answer. Okay. Is everybody ready? I believe everyone is ready. Yeah, bro. Okay. Because the first opening remark came from Professor Dr. Rernat Evi Kartini. So Prof. Evi is entitled as Professor Dr. Rernat. So if everyone know what the Rernat stands for, please raise hand and the committee will pick any one of you. So what is the Rernat stand for? Okay.
Why is it difficult?
we also can join.
Maybe you should ask directly.
Okay, perhaps we will choose. Okay, Manda Edi Mulyono. Already raised hand.
Yeah, sorry, I have problem with my Zoom meeting, so I guess I can open the video or else. The answer is Rerum Naturalium. It is a given, what is it? A given title for people who do the study in Germany on science and research. Thank you.
Is it correct, Prof?
Almost.
Perhaps we will give another chance to Mr. Manda Edi Mulyono.
Okay.
I missed the doctor things.
No, you're almost right. Okay, yeah, because you already raised hand. I think we should give also a chance. So, Rerum Naturwissenschaft. Okay, Naturwissenschaft, because Naturwissenschaft is the science. Yes, yeah. Doctor of Science in Germany is Rerum Naturwissenschaft. Yeah. Okay, so okay. However, we can give applause to Mr. Manda. Okay, yeah. So yeah, for the answer. Okay, yeah, Mr. Rangga. I think yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Manda. The committee will perhaps chat you to the chat box for the further prizes. Okay, perhaps due to the limitation of the time, maybe we could continue for the next speaker. Prof. Evi, thank you so much for the opening. We hope you to always stay safe and stay healthy. It's been a very busy week for you and for the first anniversary of NBRI. Thank you so much, Prof. Evi.
Good luck for the day. Okay, thank you.
Okay, for the first speaker, we will have from the Ulsan National Institute of Science and Technology, South Korea, Republic of, Mr. Muhammad Fahmi Rahman, Bachelor of Science and Technology, Master of Science. Before we continue, allow me to read his CV. Okay. Muhammad Fahmi Rahman, Bachelor of Science Technology, Master of Science. He obtained his bachelor degree majoring chemical engineer, minor energy engineer, and master degree majoring battery science and technology, both from Ulsan National Institute of Science and Technology, UNIST, South Korea. During his research, he analyzed structural degradation of solid electrolyte of sodium-based seawater battery through XRD, SEM, conductivity, and cycle tests, synthesized solid electrolyte ceramics, fabricated coin cell and pouch cell of sodium-based seawater battery. He received scholarship during high school, bachelor and master degree, certified user of Aspen HYSIS, and contribute to paper on Journal of Material Chemistry A. To Mr. Muhammad Fahmi, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Subhan, but can everyone hear me properly? Yes?
Yes.
All right. So today I will present about my career in South Korea. Oh, but beforehand, I would like to say thank you to Mr. Subhan, NBRI, and also Professor Effie for the opportunity for me to present in front of the millennials, or maybe student, most of you, and maybe from Indonesia and also from Philippines. So today I will present about my career, my research, and also how to apply to the Korean university, and also how to survive in Korea itself. So since today is weekend, I don't really want to have like a heavy topic about my career so far. So I'm gonna have a little bit like a light topic, and also a little bit like a, how do you say that, like relaxed atmosphere. So beforehand, so without further ado, let's continue my presentation. So oh yeah, beforehand, Mr. Suban, is it possible to have a Q&A session, because my presentation is quite short? During
sure.
I mean, we will have like 2 Q&A session like at the end of my presentation and also at the discussion. Is it possible for that?
It's possible.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Suban. So let's continue to my presentation. So today I will introduce about myself and also about my research, and then why I choose this topic as my research. And also after the introduction, I will also continue by giving you an advice about why study at Korea, and also advice before and after career based on my experience itself. So basically, from Mr. Suban said that I've been living in Korea since I was high school. So maybe when I was 15 years old, I moved to Korea. And then I stayed there for 9 years, but my Korean is really bad because I usually live in the English environment. So yeah, don't ask me about the Korean language. I really weak at the stuff. But I can tell you the tips and tricks on how to survive in Korea. So let me introduce myself. This is my team. So there is only one Indonesian student here, which is me over here. And everyone else over there is Indian. And then most of them are Korean, which is all my friend. And there is one Chinese researcher over here. So we are kind of international research group, not only Korean, but also Korean, Indonesian, Indian, and also Chinese. And like after that, we have like a Turkish, I think, that joining us, and also Vietnamese. And then this is my professor, Professor Yong-Sik Kim. I will introduce him in the next slide about his career, but I will introduce myself first because I'm the moderator here. So firstly, my education, as he mentioned before, I did my bachelor degree as a chemical engineer major and energy engineering major at UNIS. So I met my professor during my bachelor degree, and I interested in his lab. His lab was about lithium battery, but I was assigned in the seawater battery. Later on, I will explain what is seawater battery to you guys. And also, I did my master degree as battery science and technology at UNIS. UNIS is very specialized, that have a very special degree for battery study, which is battery science and technology. So in that degree, you can study heavily about battery, from nickel, cadmium, and then lithium, and then sodium ion battery, and every type of battery. So my achievement during my career is I received full scholarship for bachelor and master, a full scholarship, and also with the monthly stipend, because I also work as a part-time researcher, and also I also work as a teaching assistant. And during my research, I published 2 international journals about the solid electrolyte of the seawater battery, which I will talk later in my presentation. So before I move on, so is there anyone who can guess my age is? So is there anyone who can guess from the participant? Could you please, is there anyone who can? Oh yeah, Mr. Fauzi. How old am I?
Yes, I have a dream too.
How old am I? Can you guess, Mr. Fauzi? How?
I'm sorry, could you repeat again?
Is there
Yeah.
anyone who want to guess my age? Like how old am I?
We have the answer in the chat box, Mr.
Oh,
Fahmi.
really? Oh, really?
Mr.
Oh, wow, 24. Do I look like 24? Wow, 20. Wow, nice. You guys are nice. And 30, who is this? 30? So I'm currently 26. Yeah, not really far from 20, but a little bit. Oh, wait, who answered 39? Excuse me. All right, 39, 24. Okay, cool. I'll take it. Okay, let's have fun. Today's weekend, right? Okay, so yeah, I'm 26, guys and girls. I don't know why I look like 39, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, let's move on to my next slide, which is my professor. Oh yeah, this is my paper that I published, two paper. So the first paper is I'm the second author of this paper, which is the structural degradation of the solid electrolyte. And the second paper is I'm the co-author of this paper. So let's move on to the next slide, which is introduction of my professor. So this is my lovely professor, a very handsome man called Professor Yong-Sik Kim. So he's a bachelor at South Korea and master and PhD at Iowa State University. So currently he's a professor at UNIS, South Korea, and director of the Seawater Research Technology Center. So basically, he did propose a battery called seawater battery to the government, and he got a lot of huge fund. So he currently have like one huge building in UNIS over there. So he's a really successful researcher and also a quite rich man currently. And also he's focused on the seawater battery, lithium harvesting, solid state battery, and liquid metal battery. So this is all. The system of this battery is all of them is about the solid electrolyte. About the solid state battery, which use solid electrolyte. And fun fact about my professor is he's the student of the John Goodenough, the inventor of the lithium-ion battery, which won the Nobel Prize of the chemistry in 2019. He's pretty popular professor, the John Goodenough. So basically, I'm the student of the Nobel Prize winner. All right. So let's move on to this. So before I'm doing my research, I will introduce about the global warming. So the global greenhouse effect. So as you may know that this is the graph about the greenhouse effect in the world, and most of them comes from the energy, which is 73% of them. So if we can decrease the 73% for moving from the non-renewable energy to renewable energy, we can decrease the global warming and also the greenhouse effect. So what is the effect of the greenhouse effect, and why do we need to worry about them? So there are a few effects from the greenhouse effect. Firstly is the increased temperature on Earth, which also melt the ice on the both sides of the poles, ocean level rises, and also may affect species, and also air pollution due to carbon dioxide. So this is already learned in the middle school in Indonesia, I believe. So let's move on from the global warming. So the solution of this global warming is the changing for our energy from non-renewable energy to renewable energy. But the problem is renewable energy is so unreliable. Why is it so unreliable? Because, for example, we have the solar panels right over here. So these solar panels, it actually produces energy from the sunlight. But at night, is it produce any energy? A very simple question indeed, but it doesn't produce any energy. For example, and on the other hand, wind turbine, same thing happens. It needs wind to power the turbine. If it doesn't have wind, it will not power at all. And also for the wave energy, so this is the if it is the first time you see this is a wave energy. All right. So the problem with the wave energy is it doesn't generate any wave in the middle of the day, but it generates wave at night. So this energy, this renewable energy is so unreliable. So to solve this issue, we need to have an energy storage to collect the electricity when the weather is really good or supporting the energy generation. For example, like for the solar cells, we create electricity and then give it to the battery or the energy storage. And at night, we discharge the electricity from the battery to the electricity system, to the power system. So far we have a lot of battery system, which is lead acid, very dangerous because it created from the lead, and very low energy density. And then we have nickel cadmium and also nickel hydrate. So this battery has a medium density, but the problem with this battery is the, how do you say that? It's the, I forgot the name of the effect. But like, and then also we have the lithium ion battery. I will Google this nickel later and then share it to you guys. And then we have the lithium ion battery. So as you know, that lithium ion battery has very huge potential and it's very promising. It has a huge energy density, which is maybe around 200. And also it has highest volumetric energy density. But the problem with the lithium-ion battery is the lithium-ion battery is scarce and quite expensive. For example, like based on the simple Google, it said that it is $13,000 per metric ton in 2019. And this is quite huge. So my professor created a new battery called sodium battery from the seawater, because sodium ion you can find it in the seawater if you think about it. So if you think about it, seawater is contain NaCl mostly, which is sodium chloride, and this sodium chloride can be used as a battery to charge the electricity. So this is my research. So what is the seawater battery? Seawater battery is a sodium ion battery that uses seawater as an anode. The biggest advantage of this seawater battery is, firstly, it's environmental friendly because it didn't use any of the inorganic material. And also it is very cheap because the anode itself usually is the highest price in the battery. It's replaced with the seawater, which is free. So the price, it can be around 10% to 20% of the normal battery. But the problem is it's still under research, so it's not really finalized, and maybe it will be finalized on 2025. So my research is on the solid electrolyte, because on the solid electrolyte itself, I heard that it is not stable with the water, the NaCl we call it, or Na3Zr2 Si2Po12, I think. So this is not stable with the water because it can be exchanged with the hydronium ion and will create lower ionic conductivity. Okay, I forgot, sorry, this is weekend, so I don't want to talk about the huge technical stuff. So let's move on from this seawater battery. But if you're interested, you can visit his lab in the Google. And then why I choose seawater battery as my topic? Firstly, Indonesia is an archipelago country. It has a lot of islands, and also it has a lot of seawater. So seawater can be found easily in Indonesia, as Indonesia is the islandy country. So there are a lot of islands, and also seawater battery is also very cheap and feasible to geography of Indonesia. And also Indonesia can create, this is what I believe, in the future later when we can replace non-renewable energy with renewable energy, Indonesia can create power plant in the middle of the sea, which is not land consuming, and also no space taken, and energy can easily transfer to many islands. So in the future later, this is what I believe. We can install the wave energy over here in the middle of the island, and then this energy can be transported to the nearby small island, and it doesn't consume a lot of space, and also it can use seawater as a battery itself, which is quite an advantage. So, all right, let's move on to this. So, okay, let's move on to the next issue, or maybe next topic. So why study at Korea? So today we are not gonna talk a lot about the research topic, or maybe my research topic, or my professor research topic. So that is the last presentation of my research topic. So the biggest question is why study at Korea at the first place, if you have like another country like Europe and also USA and other stuff. So as you know that Korea is really good at K-pop or K-drama or Korean culture, if you really watch Korean TV or something like that. So if you want to meet BTS, Blackpink, and also what else, and also want to experience the Korean culture, I would like to recommend you to the Korea, but this is not the main reason why you should study at Korea. So why study at Korea again? So I would recommend to study at Korea because Korea has 6 universities on top 100 in the world, which is SNU, KAIST, Korea University, Yonsei, Pohang, and also Sungkyung SKKU. In addition to that, Korea offer many kind of scholarship. So as you know that the Indonesian government scholarship, LPDP or LPDP, also give you the scholarship if you are accepted to the Korean university. And also Korea have the Korean government scholarship. And sometimes some Korean university itself has the scholarship. And usually for the scholarship itself, it also have the money stipends, so that you don't need, so that you can produce money too actually for during your study. For example, like during my study as a master degree, I got around 1 million won free, and it is excluded from the tuition fee. So this is for my living fee only, 1 million won. It is equal to the 10 million rupiah, I think. I'm not really sure how much is it, but I think around 10 million rupiah. So I think 1 million won is enough for surviving in Korea. And also other thing is like Korea is supported with many big industry such as Samsung, LG, Hyundai, and etc. So as you may know that our phone is using Samsung, And if you're following the battery in Indonesia, so the contract of the battery itself is with the Korean government and also Chinese government. And the Korean government is under LG Chem and also Hyundai. So I think in the near future, they will open a company, LG Chem and Hyundai, in around Indonesia, maybe around Karawang. And this is a huge opportunity why you should study in Korea, because you will, like after graduation, you can go to the Korean companies such as LG Chem, Hyundai, and Samsung, do a research there, or you can come back to here and also start working in this company later in the future. So let's move on to my university called UNIS. So I think in top 100, I didn't mention about UNIS, but UNIS is a young university, a very young university founded in 2009. Like other university is founded on 1950 something, but UNIS is a new young university, which is founded by the Ministry of the Science and also Ministry of the Research and Industry. So, and also it has potential to grow into one of the biggest university in the world. And it has motto which is top 10 in 2030. So I believe that they can be a top 10 in 2030 later on. So it is located at Ulsan, South Korea. So if you're interested in K-pop, you're not gonna have a chance if you live here, because Seoul is very far from Ulsan. It's around maybe 6 hours by KTX or by express train, or 12 hours, no, 7, I forgot, is it 7 or 8 hours by bus to Seoul. So Ulsan is pretty near to Busan and also pretty near to Japan. So if you go to Japan, it's quite cheap by airplane. So yeah, and inside Ulsan itself, it's only the large company there, such as Hyundai, LG, and also Samsung. Large manufacturing company, let me correct myself. So this is an industrial area in Korea, and the living expense is quite high in Ulsan also. So why study at UNIS? Even though UNIS is a young university but they are already included in the top 10 young university in the world. What is young university? Is university under 50 years old. So they are in the top 10. The first one is the NTU from the Singapore, and number 10 is the UNIS over here, South Korea. And they are only 21 years old, which is pretty new for the university. So UNIS, and also UNIS is a Korean university that specializes on battery and renewable energy. So we have a lot of research, a lot of kind battery research in UNIS, which is seawater battery. And also we have the flexible battery and also the printable battery. And also we have one of the best solar scientists in the world. I think he is making the highest efficient of the perovskite solar cells. And also UNIS overviewed with the English environment, because usually in Korean university, you need to study Korean for 1 year, and then after that, you can study inside there. But there are little universities that you don't need to study Korean, and one of them is UNIS, which is English environment, and there are a lot of international students too, maybe around 30% of the international students in UNIS. And also UNIS offers scholarship, independent scholarship from the government, the Korean government or the UNIS itself, and also money stipend, as I told you previously, which is around 1 million won. It's enough, and it's also 1 million won is for master only. For PhD is higher than that, but I don't know how much is it. And also the biggest advantage of UNIS is, since UNIS is a young university, it has the latest lab analysis instrument. I believe that UNIS have like one of the analysis instrument. There are only 5 in the world, and UNIS have one of it. This is why I advise you to go to UNIS. And also based on my senior or my hyung. Do you guys know hyung means? Is there anyone who know hyung means? In the chat, can you talk? Can you chat? Oh, it's Japan. Okay, never mind. Okay, so based on my senior experience, he went to the USA, to the Iowa University for the research internship, and the lab instrument is not as good as UNIS because it's pretty old, and also the design of the lab itself is old. But in UNIS, everything is new because it's a young university in the world. So next slide, I will tell you how to apply to UNIS. So if you really want to apply to UNIS, or maybe in my university, you can apply on this one. Where just find in the Google admission UNIS, and you will find this page, and then you can find out a lot of the information from this page. So UNIS opened the application twice, which is in the spring semester around October, and also in the fall semester around March and April. So this is UNIS also have a lot of majors such as management. Let's see what else. Battery engineering, biomedical science, and other stuff. So if you're not interested with the battery and interested in the other kind of the engineering, you can also apply to the UNIS. And then also after that, student can choose between UNIS scholarship, government funded, or other scholarship on this application. And what's mandatory in this university is the English certification skill. You don't need AP test. AP test is not mandatory, but if you can add it to your resume, it will be better. But English certification skill is mandatory. So this is my presentation about my university. So if you have any question, please, excuse me, Mr. Suban, do we have enough time to have a little question over here before I move on to my topic?
Sure.
Okay, so if you have any question, please raise your hand, or maybe you can chat over here. Is there anyone who want to have questions so far? Feel free to ask me. If not, I will move on to my next slide then. All right, I guess I can move on. Okay, let's move on. Advice before going to Korea or outside Indonesia. So this is based on my experience itself. So the first thing that I would advise you before going outside this country is to improve your English. I mean, if you can understand my English so far, then you will be fine. But if you don't, then you need to improve your English, because all the information such as lecture, book, paper, and even social life will use English, not Indonesian language anymore. So when I was starting in high school, my English is pretty bad. So when I entered the classroom for the first time with my Indian teacher and also my Korean teacher, it's pretty hard to understand their speaking or their language or the lecture itself. And I really have hard time, and well, I still survive, but it's pretty hard if you don't understand English in outside Indonesia. So what I would like to advise to improve your English, no matter what. So to improve your English, so what I'm doing usually, I'm just doing my hobby. For example, my hobby is reading, so I'm just reading everything in English, slowly and steadily. And then try to improve also by studying itself through the lecture online. We have a lot of online research currently from the YouTube and other stuff. So try to improve your English by studying and through your hobby. And secondly, have a clear plan in your mind and resolve yourself, because like it needs a lot of resolve to go outside from the country and leaving your family and your friend behind. So you need to have a clear plan why you need to go there. If you think that it is not really worth it, then it's fine to not go outside. But if it's like a huge big step or a huge footstep of your career, so I believe that you should go outside this country and hone your skill. And lastly, don't forget to prepare all documents before leaving Indonesia, because some of them forget to prepare visa, which is very important in Korea, and also passport, and maybe other documents such as, let's see, what else? Yeah, but every document you need to prepare before going outside. Because like once you leave Indonesia, you cannot go back easily. That's the problem. And then, so for living outside Korea, so my advice is adapt, and adapt, nothing else. This is always the first thing that I'm gonna say to a new student in Korea. I was the leader of the Indonesian community also in my university. So like whenever they come to me like, oh Fahmi, I just come to Korea. So what should I do? Should I study hard? Should I just score A+ in every exam and other stuff? No, just adapt. Because no matter how good you are, if you can't adapt, you're nothing. For example, please look at this player like Eden Hazard. So if you're following the football, you know this player, right? Eden Hazard. So Eden Hazard scored around more than 10 goals per season in Chelsea. He's considered as a legend in Chelsea, but when he moved to Real Madrid, because he cannot adapt, he only scored 4 goals in 2 years. Same thing with the researcher. If you can't adapt well to the new environment, wherever you are, you will not show your highest potential. For example, like you always get A+ in Indonesia, and you come out from the Indonesia, you come out to Korea and you cannot adapt. And you can only use 10% of your potential so far, which is wasteful. It's very wasteful because you could have get A+, but you get C+ because you cannot adapt. So how to adapt in Korea itself? So for me itself, try making a lot of friends. Yes, try making a lot of friends from outside, not only Indonesia, but outside Indonesia also. There is a lot of international students, for example, like from Brazil, and also from Qatar. My best friend is from Qatar and India, and also I also have a lot of Korean friends too. So yeah, so make a lot of friends and also go around Korea for a while, go a free field trip and go free business trip. Because what you're facing is not about academic study, but also about life. So I remember I have one interesting story about the adaptation. So I have one of my friends from Indonesia itself. He actually got scholarship and he's pretty smart because he only did it once and he got accidentally accepted to Korea. So you can say that he's pretty smart. But when he comes to the Korea, he is having hard time to adapt to the Korean society and also the workload in Korea itself, because the workload outside is much higher than the workload inside Indonesia. This is my experience. So because he's having hard time to adapt, he finally decided to come back to Indonesia before, or else something bad will happen to him, like from the mentality stuff, not from the physical stuff. So at the end of the day, he came back to Indonesia and start his new life in Indonesia and cancel the scholarship. So this is the problem. Like no matter how smart you are, you need to adapt. And then the second one is always get in touch with your family. So why I recommend this, because the problem with living outside the country is homesick. You will find it everywhere. If you go to Germany, you will find you will get homesick. Not only because you miss your family, maybe because you miss your food, the Indonesian food, and also you miss other stuff about Indonesia. And to tackle this issue, I suggest you to always get in touch with your family and also to adapt. Talk with your family and also keep update with your family. And thirdly is never lose your goal during your study. So there is a person that I know, he adapt well, he always get in touch with his family, but he forget his goal during his study. So he got accepted in the university for studying, for getting A+ or for publishing some paper, but he decided to be a basketball player. So yeah, many people will lose your goal when you finish adapting, and also always many people will lose their goal after living long time outside the country. So, and also like there are a lot of my friends who become like really love a night environment in Korea, and also lost their goal too and failed their study and lost scholarship. And lastly, work hard and prove yourself to the professor why you are worth it to study in Korea, or why you are worth it to study outside Indonesia, whether it's Germany, whether it is United States, Canada, and everywhere. Work hard and prove yourself, and you will get the recognition that you needed. So this is all about my presentation and quite light topic from me. Thank you very much for listening. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask before I'm leaving. And yeah, good luck for you for applying outside, and remember all my advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fahmi. It is a very interesting presentation that you already mentioned about how to adapt in such an environment. We know some sayings that say, when in Rome, do as Romans do."
Yes.
So if everybody has a question to Mr. Fahmi, because I believe the Hallyu wave is not just affecting the movie or music industry in Korea, but as well as the battery technology and other research.
Yes.
Okay, we have a question from Raihan Puji Putranto. Is it possible if we apply for the PhD program and or recommendation letter from previous degree in UNIST without paper publication from master degree?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can apply for PhD program without publication. So as far as I know, what they needed is that only English certification and also your transcript. As far as I remember, you will have a test later on. And my advice is you need to approach one of the UNIS professor before applying to the UNIS, and also talk about your research and your career plan. And that professor will help you until you get accepted. That's the easiest way to get to the PhD program in UNIS. Okay, this is quite the hack that I give you. So yeah, so my advice is to just talk to one of the UNIS professor and ask him whether is there any space for him to work with you, and also talk about your career possibility, and then apply to UNIS. Because I think most of the student itself, I remember there was like one story from my Indian friend, like his cousin applied to Korean university, but he doesn't have professor. Therefore, he lost his scholarship there. So no matter what, you need the professor recommendation from the UNIS professor. And also you need to talk about your career plan, and he will help you during the interview and also other progress. And yeah, you don't need to have the paper publication on master degree. Don't worry. It's very hard to get paper publication during master, as far as I believe. Thank you for the quite interesting question, Mr. Raihan. So is there any more question?
Is there any other question from the audience?
Is there any question? Yeah, you can ask me any question about UNIS life, about how fun is it in Korea, about the workload, about, let's see what else. Yeah, about my research if you want, and also my professor. Oh yeah, by the way. Okay, I'm gonna share the link, the admission link to this chat. So if you're interested in applying to UNIS, you can just open the link. Wait a minute. Okay, I share. So is there anyone? Oh, Miss
Okay,
Sinta.
we have the question from our MC.
It's fine.
Okay, Mrs. Sinta, please.
All right, thank you so much. Because there is no one ask a questions, so I think this is my time to ask a question before another one.
Okay,
So my
cool.
questions is, you said that you're living abroad since high school, right?
Yeah.
So what is the worst and the best experience you got during your life abroad?
Oh, wow. Very interesting indeed. Worst. Let's see, worst. I have a lot of worst that I need to think about it. Okay, let's talk about the best one first. The best. Yeah. So when I was in high school, we are kind of crybaby, like because we are still 15 years old, 3 people in Korea. So I'm a practitioner Muslim. So I always go to mosque every week, but it's not possible on Friday because it's still a work day. And whenever we go to the mosque in Busan, my high school is in Busan. So I met one Korean Muslim who always offered me a free meal in his place. And when like I think on 2010 the internet is still bad, so we always call our parent through calling card. So the phone call from that. So it costs around 10,000 won. So whenever we visit, he always give us like the 3 calling card, which is 30,000 won, 300,000 rupiah. So that is every month. Every month he always give us the same thing, like a very high expensive food, Turkish food, and also a calling card. That's one of my best experience. And another best experience is during my stay in Korea, I got injured on my shoulders and also my hand. So I went to the hospital itself and got surgery there. And during my surgery, I was in the room with 6 people. 5 people is Korean, and all of those Korean people helped me a lot. So Korean people are really kind over there. So like I remember one of them got like a leg injury and leg surgery, and that guy gave me like 100,000 won during the stay over there, which is around 1 million rupiah. And also he always helped me moving my stuff and also cleaning my clothes. I'm really thankful with the Korean experience. Korean people and my experience there. Korean people are really kind person and a very serious person. So this is one of my best experience during my stay in Korea. And my worst experience, this is tough. I have a lot. Let's see what is mine. No, that is pretty good too actually. I think one time I like my worst so far is that like, okay, firstly the workload. One time when I was master, you need to prepare for the workload if you want to work in Korea or research in Korea. So the rule in the Korea it's simple. If professor go home, you can go home. It's quite simple. Problem is the professor go home at 10 p.m. Yeah, he started at 9 a.m. and then 10 p.m. he go home. Sometimes 12 in the midnight. So we can go home after that. So yeah, the workload is quite tough, but it's quite fun stuff because I always have fun with my senior over there. So we always have like a talk. And also one time when I got into the bus, I was in the middle of the jungle because I'm living in the small city in Korea. So I need to walk to the jungle's night at 10 p.m. I think. Yeah, that's one of my worst experience. But so far it's quite fun. It's quite fun living outside in Korea. Quite safe place. You can leave your laptop in the sofa and it will be fine. Thank you, Miss Sinta, for the very good question and very interesting question.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Fahmi, for such a very great experience.
Yeah.
I believe that it's actually I have a plan to study abroad after this, continue my study, but it's kind of like a scary moment for a woman to study abroad alone. I always think like that. That's why I was like, okay.
There are a lot of my friend who is a woman and he doesn't have big problem. Actually, we are living in the dorm, but some people living outside the dorm, which is very dangerous. And that woman living outside the dorm, the Indonesian woman. So yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, but it's also challenging, right?
Yeah, it's challenging. It's fun.
All
Let's
right.
see from Mr. Eddie Mulyono. Thank you for your question, Ms. Sinta. So do you find difference in research passion between researcher in Korea and in Indonesia? Actually, I've never been a researcher in Indonesia, but yes, I find research passion between researcher in Korea and in Indonesia. So firstly, Korean is forced to have military service. This is the role of the Korean, or be PhD. So you either have 2 years of the military service experience, or you become PhD and have 1 month military service experience. So that's why there are a lot of Korean who become PhD because they don't want to serve as a military. So because of that, the standard of the PhD and also the master degree is quite high because many Korean people, smart people, apply for the PhD. So and also they have a huge passion. For example, like they can work until midnight and they have no problem waking up in the 7 a.m. in the morning, and then come back again to work until 9 p.m. until midnight again, then go home at 7 a.m. They don't have problem with that. So they are living like their life is research. So that's the difference between the passion in Indonesia and in Korea. So I don't know about the Indonesia, but as far as I know from my Indonesian friend and also about myself, we are quite below the Korean passion. But I think we have a big advantage because we are very creative. Compared to the Korean researcher, we are creative. yes, we are creative and we can find the solution easily, and we have a better mental health. I think we are not really weak against pressure, and also very friendly. Yes, professor usually like Indonesian students if they don't make any trouble. So yeah, this is my answer. Yes, there are a lot of different impressions, but I think we can how do you say that, we can fight against it, or maybe we can have the similar passion with them. So yeah, like Korean have advantage, Indonesian also have advantage. So is there any more question while I'm here? It's fine. You can ask me a question like Miss Sinta. Quite fun. I really like that question because it's weekend. We need to enjoy our weekend. But I don't mind for the serious question like the PhD program, recommendation letter, living in Indonesia, and other stuff.
Okay, perhaps to all the audience who has a question could join the Q&A session later.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
At the end. But thank you so much, Mr. Fahmi Rahman, for such an inspiring career hacks, as well as sharing your experience in South Korea from the high school. Thank you so much, Mr. Fahmi. Okay, shall we move to the next speaker? Okay, for the next speaker would be my colleagues from National Battery Research Institute, Muhammad Ridho Nugraha, Bachelor of Technique. He is a research assistant of the National Battery Research Institute. But before we continue, allow me to read Mr. Ridho CV. Muhammad Ridho Nugraha, Bachelor of Technique. He is presently working as research assistant in National Battery Research Institute. He achieved his bachelor degree from University of Indonesia, majoring in metallurgy and material engineering in international class. His expertise are lithium-ion battery research, including coin, cylinder, and pouch battery fabrication and material characterization with XRD. He participate the international seminar as speaker and already published 10 papers in IOP, AIP, and Ionics. His graduate thesis also worked in lithium titanate oxide doping with activated carbon for battery anode materials. Muhammad Ridho put his research interest on lithium-ion battery fabrication, and performance testing, renewable energy, and energy storage system. Without a further ado, Mr. Ridho, this virtual stage is yours.
Yes, thank you, my friend, Mr. Subhan. Thank you for this great opportunity to me to share about probably about the researcher life in Indonesia and also a little bit from the outside. And allow me to share screen. Okay, so everyone can hear my screen, can see my screen and hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay. So, good morning everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And in this opportunity, in Millennials Talk, the topic is researcher career hacks, learn the best from the east. Okay, so maybe I want to share my experiences in as being research, either from the colleges or in the work in NBRI. So Mr. Suban already read my CV, but I will introduce myself again. And my name is Muhammad Ridwan Nugraha. Born in the Bontang, is Borneo, Indonesia, 15 November 1995. And my education background is I'm taking the metallurgy and materials engineering from University of Indonesia. And I also have the experiences in taking the student exchange in 2017 in Taylor's University, Malaysia. So and then in 2018 to 2020, I've been doing research in the Universitas Indonesia as a research assistant in laboratory material energy that work in the lithium battery anode materials fabrication and synthesize the material of the anode materials. And then in the 2021, I've been applied as a research assistant in the National Battery Research Institute until now. So I'm still working there. So I have a research interest in the lithium-ion energy storage and the renewable energy, such as also the solar panel and the energy storage systems. So before I continue, I need to introduce to yourself, to all of you, about the National Battery Research Institute. What is NBRI? The NBRI is the Center of Excellence Innovation of Battery and Renewable Energy Foundation that also founded by Professor F.V. Kartini as the founder, and also the Professor Alan J. Drew from the Humo, UK, the Queen Mary University of London, United Kingdom, as the co-founder. So what our vision in NBRI? So we are the platform to gather all of Indonesian stakeholders in battery research and productions. And also we have the long-term goal to develop a battery manufacturing industry using locally sourced resources. So we don't import the resource from the outside, but we need to use our local resource. So we have the domestic value, the high value in the energy sector, and that's our vision in NBRI. So my research experiences in the University of Indonesia. Wait a minute. Okay, so in the University of Indonesia, for about 2 years, I've been a researcher to develop the anode materials for lithium pouch cell batteries. So basically, we fabricate another battery, such as a coin cell, for the initial research, and then we collecting the data. If there is a higher capacity or higher performance, we can scale up the research into the bigger size, such as pot cells. This lithium titanate oxide have higher performance, especially for the fast charging capabilities. But the specific capacity of this battery itself is still lower than the commercial battery that using NMC or other type of batteries. So this research is aimed to optimizing these materials with adding with other substances like we call it doping or composite to increase the electrochemical performance. So we're adding another substances to increase the performance. So in this research for about 2 years, we have the output with three prototype batteries, as you can see in the pictures. The first one is the green color. That's the first prototype of my team. This battery is using the LTO as the anode and the lithium ferrophosphate as the cathode. So this battery is already in the 12 volts format, not the 3.2, but already in the battery pack mode, which can output the 12 volts electricity. And then the first one is not the doping material. That's just the LTO and the LFP. And then the second and the third one is the doping and the composite one. So basically we compare the each of the performance, which is the best doping materials to increase the stability of the battery and also the capacity of the battery. And then other output of this research is the publication, of course, the international publications in IOP, AIP, and the Ionics. Maybe I can total it's 10 publications for that 2 years. Okay, and then I want to share also the research experiences in the NBRI. So what we do in NBRI. So previously in the University of Indonesia, I'm doing research in the anode materials. Okay, and then in the NBRI, I'm doing the other one, the cathode materials research. So in here we produce the NMC materials with locally nickel resource. So we use the nickel source to make the NMC. We have a lot of variation of NMC like NMC 111, NMC 811, and etc. So like I said before, why we use this nickel source, locally nickel source, because we want to achieve the higher domestic component level of TKDN, tingkat komponen dalam negeri, because it is important to make our country grow better. If we want to produce the lithium battery inside of our country. So in NBRI we also have the battery testing and standardization. So it's our goal to do the testing facilities. So we test all the batteries from other commercial products. So we filter all the batteries, which one is the real one or there is a fake one. Because we already see in the market there's a lot of fake battery that it's written 6,000 but the real one is just 200. There's a lot of fake batteries in the market right now, especially yes, electronic cigarettes fake users. They experience the fake batteries a lot. So with the fake batteries, if we use, they can harm the user, such as that can explode. The battery can be explode or can catch a fire. So there's a lot of potential hazard that if the user doesn't know the battery is fake or real. So we can test the battery in NBRI. Okay, next. We also work in the renewable energy. So after the battery we already made, and then we test all the battery, the performance, and then the next step is the implementation of the energy storage. So we combine the battery and also the renewable energy, like a solar panel. In this example, we make the solar street light with IoT monitoring system. So basically, it can monitor the real-time data 24 hours for the power output and power input that produced by the solar. This battery also use the lithium with prismatic size. So it's a little bit technical, but yeah, that's what we do as a research. We have a lot of technical things. So next, I want to talk about the research skill. So what skill we need to have is if we want to be a researcher. So the first one is critical thinking. We need to think critical. So if we have a lot of problems, we need to find and always finding the new solutions. And then the analytical skill is for the calculations, basically in the chemical reaction for the sample. And then the observe skill, communication. If you work with a team or you communicate with your friend about the research you do. And then the English skill. Why I put the English skill? Because every research in the world, they're using English as the first language for the you can say the publications. We learn the research from the journals, papers that using English. And that the standard also are written in the English. And then the other skill is like discipline, creative, and teamwork. As a researcher, you not work alone. You have a lot of team to make sure your research progress is going well. And then the innovative. After you develop a new research, you need to do another things that can improve another research in the future. And then the responsibility. It's a common skill. Responsibility. You need to responsible about what you do in the research in the research work. Okay, so in this opportunity, I want to discuss about the battery research development in other countries. Like if we compare Indonesia with other country like Japan, Korea, or China. If to be honest, uh, the most country that mastering the technology of the battery is China. Right now is China because they can produce the medium to high quality of batteries with a lower price. So for Japan, the research in the Japan is higher, but the products is still higher in the prices. So right now the electric vehicle that using batteries like BYD, the price is not higher, so it's acceptable in the market right now. Like Indonesia, there are a lot of vehicle company from China because they very suitable into the market in Indonesia. Okay, so research in Indonesia, I can say that there are a lot of problems related to research progress in Indonesia because we don't work together between the industry sectors or the academic and also the research institute. So they work alone. They not work together. So this is the big problem research in Indonesia, and also there are a lot of bureaucracy inside of the research institute. So they just want to do the research for the publications for their own needs, but after the publication is finished, there are no implementation of that research to the people in Indonesia. So the people of Indonesia doesn't receive the benefit of that research itself. So what I see in Indonesia is like that, but nowadays the research institute already merged by BRIN. I hope it can fix the problem inside of the research institute, and we can collaborate with other like industries, academic universities, and research institute to work together, sit together to do the same goal, so the research can be the progress can be achieved and it can implement it in the Indonesia. So in 2017, like I said, I applied to student exchange in the Taylor's University, Selangor, Malaysia. For the documentation, I don't have to be documentation because it's 2017. I lost my phone. So basically, I just want to share a little bit what I do in here. In student exchange in the Taylor's University, I'm taking the engineering design major because I'm from the engineering. I want to learn about the engineering design with 3D software. So in here I'm using the SolidWorks software. So I want to masterize this skill because it is important as the engineer to we have the idea, we have planning, but we need to draw something in my mind, in our mind, to be a semi-real one in the lab, in the software. Before it will be the real thing. You will build after you design. It's not a long-term student exchange. It's just 3 months. So what I just learned this for the engineering design things. Yeah, it's just for my hobbies. Yeah, you can say it's my hobby is designing something that I can build after that. Yeah, maybe that's all for me. We can continue the discussion if there's a question from the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rido, for your explanation about
Yes.
your experience. Maybe I would like to give the floor to the audience who has a first question to Mr. Rido. Especially Mr. Rido is now a research assistant. He obviously know the benefit and challenges in doing research. Okay, perhaps the first question came from me, Mr. Rida.
Yes, one.
Well, you have the opportunity to have a student exchange in Malaysia,
Yes.
as you said previously. As we know that Malaysia has a similarity with Indonesia, whether it's from culture and so on and so forth. Do you find is it a challenges or is it a benefit for you to be able to to study or to adapt in?
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, that is the reason why I'm choosing why I choose Malaysia as my student exchange for my university, because it has the same culture. So I can adapt easily without thinking anything else. It's just the same as our culture. It is the same as Jakarta, but with a uh, with a better attitude in people with a better attitude. Yeah, for the food is there's a lot of food in there, same same as here.
Because I believe Malaysia is one of the countries that Indonesian student or researcher would like to apply for their further study. So I believe that your insight could help all of us to really dig deeper about the opportunity in Malaysia.
Yeah, because for the technology, they master the technology more than us. They learn from the people, maybe from the UK or the USA. They learn from the best, so that the country can develop better, uh, higher than Indonesia. So we need to study in there. I hope we can be like them, to be a develop for to make our country better. Thank you, Supan.
Thank you, Mr. Rido. Perhaps we could proceed to the next. Oh, sorry, there are some questions from Andy, would you prefer to ask by yourself, or are you more comfortable to be asked for read your question?
Okay, answer question ya, first one.
Okay, perhaps I will read the question. Very interesting talk, Mr. Rido. Thank you thank you so much for amazing insight. How you overall experience at NBRI? Do you have any tips and tricks to get into part of the NBRI?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Andi, if I'm not wrong. Okay, Mr. Andi. Yeah, my experience at NBRI for about I already in NBRI for almost 6 months. Yeah, because the first reason I want to apply to NBRI is they have the same passions like me to work in the battery in the battery. That also I see the vision of the NBRI is to use the locally nickel resource to yeah, that can make Indonesia better for making the battery industry. Yeah, if you are a researcher and then you already researching about the lithium battery, so yeah, you will have a fun in NBRI, but it depends on what your strength. Are you the researcher or the student? The NBRI can adapt to what you need. And then, do you have any tips and trick? Okay, the tips and trick is you need to get into part of NBRI. Okay, to get into part of NBRI, the first one you need to pass several qualifications. Like the first one is the English qualification. You need to have a good English because our co-founder is from UK. Professor Alan J. Drew is from UK, so we have a lot of conversation with using English. And then NBRI is the international platform, so everything is using English. So that's the first thing you need to have. And then the other things, the tips and trick, you will need to have a good management in the either it's a time management or in a teamwork. Yeah, maybe that's the tips and trick from me. Maybe Mr. Sofan can add the answer for Mr. Andy.
Thank you, Mr. Rido.
Yeah.
To Mr. Andy, just keep updated with the NBRI website and other social media platform. There will be information about the recruitment or internship opportunity, as NBRI is open for vocational, undergraduate, and fresh graduate internship. So if you're very curious about that, just please keep updated on our social media. Okay, maybe we would continue to the quiz session. This quiz session once again has a price of it's a free ticket or 50% off to the ICE 2021. So if everybody ready, okay, I hope everybody is ready. So the question is, name 3 persons who got the Nobel Prize winner in Chemistry 2019 for their contribution to the development of lithium-ion battery, in which one of them have joined the ICB ref. Okay. Okay, I will repeat the question. Name 3 persons who got Nobel Prize winner in chemistry 2019 for their contribution to the development of the lithium-ion battery. Please raise hand for those of you who knows. You will get a free ticket to the ICRUS 2021. Once again, this quiz has a prize to the ticket for ICRUS 2021 with the total price of 2 million for those of you and 55% who could answer. Okay, if you cannot name 3 of them, just one name of the Nobel Prize winner. Or perhaps Mr. Rido could help to give an answer.
Yeah. Maybe for one name only first, okay? Mr. Good enough.
Great.
Maybe John B. Good enough.
Okay, maybe the other have the another name. Okay, Mr. Nugroho, could you please open your microphone and video? Okay, okay. Can you give the full name of Mr. Akira? Correct. Mr. Akira Yoshino is one of the Nobel Prize winner in chemistry 2019. Congratulations, Mr. Nugroho. The committee will contact you for the prizes. Thank you, Mr. Nugroho. Thank you, Mr. Rido.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Suhadi.
Okay, then we will continue to the next speaker, but hold on a second. Okay, the next speaker will be Mr. Egi Aditama, Bachelor of Science and Master of Science from National Chao Tung University and University of Münster. Mr. Egi Aditama obtained his Bachelor Science majoring Physics Education in 11 Maret University. He graduated from National Chao Tung University, Taiwan, with the title of Master of Science in Material Science and Engineering, and continue his study in MEET, Battery Research Center, University of Münster, Germany. He has the academic experience in PhD, employ a novel pre-lithiation technique by thermal evaporation of lithium on silicon anodes and investigated thin layer of aluminum fluoride or AIF3 as protective layer on silicon anodes. He selected award and honors in 2020, first rank student of Department of Material Science and Engineering in the third semester, fall 2020. And in 2017, the third most outstanding student, 11 Maret University. In 2016, first winner of National Article Competition, Tanjung Pura University. In the same year, the first winner of National Paper Competition, Jember University. And in 2015, top 10 essay competition at the 7th International Symposium, OISAA Singapore. To Mr. Egi Aditama. It's very nice to have you here, and the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you. Would you mind to allow me to share the screen? Right. You should be able to see my screen, right? Thank you very much for the nice introduction, and please apologize me for coming late. It's quite early morning here in Germany. It's actually 4 a.m. and Fajr prayer is start from 7 a.m. So you can imagine how dark it is now. Yeah, but anyway, and this is, I think, my second talk with National Battery Research Institute. Back then, in a couple months ago, I also had the opportunity to give also the talk. Yeah, I think it was about in my research, and now I will be talking about research career hacks. Learn the best from the East. All right, so again, my name is Egi Tama, and I'm sitting in Germany, but I will talk a bit further about my research experience in Taiwan. So please let me briefly introduce about battery research field, which is my topic now in my PhD. So I think if now you're working in the battery field, I think this is the best time, because as you can see here, the global market for lithium-ion batteries is increasing, and it's increasing even exponentially. It's not only for electronic devices, but also for other applications. So if you are working in the battery field, congratulations, you are in the correct path actually, and you are in the right spot. And if you are not, you can shift your research topic into battery field. Yeah, because this is really exciting. All over the world working on the batteries, not only from Europe. I think Indonesia also working a lot with battery, and then also Japan, South Korea, of course, with LG Chem or something like that. And here is German landscape for energy storage research. We have quite a lot academic institution working in the battery. Also, we have industry, and the cooperation between industry and academic is really strong. For example, we have Volkswagen, we have BMW, and we have some research institution. Here is MIT. MIT stands for Münster Electrochemical Energy Technology. This is the place where I'm working on at the moment. We have really strong collaboration with Helmholtz Institute in Münster, also Juli, also Aachen, where maybe you know Professor Habibi. Also, he was, I think he did PhD here in Aachen. And yeah, so today, if I call back to my career arc, I did my bachelor in University of Plasmar in physics education. And then I graduated 2018. I flew to Taiwan in NCTU, or National Chiao Tung University. and also I'm the part of laboratory of energy storage and electrochemistry. And if you're talking about NCT, it's actually people call it MIT from the East, because in Taiwan, NCT is regarded one of the best university. And then after finished in 2 years, then I got position for PhD in the Mid-Barrier Research Center in University of Münster. So all the way I flew to Germany. I think we are separated like 10,000 kilometers away with 6-hour time differences. That's why maybe in Indonesia it's still the morning at 10 maybe, but here in Germany we are still at 4 a.m. All right, so back then during my undergrad school in University of 11 Maret, I know that I will face the reality after graduation. So we have some career option, either work or start for grad school, or maybe build a startup, or maybe taking a gap year. So I think the third semester or the fourth semester, I already knew that I will taking this part for grad school. So my point is that if you are still in undergrad school, would be great if you know what you're going to do after you get the degree. You have to decide first, because if you know your goal, then you can have a clear path how to achieve it. So in my case, I know that someday in the future, I will go for grad school. That's why I start to build the legacy, start my path. 2015, I actively joined the scientific competition. Like I got LKT stands for Lomba Karya Tulis Ilmiah. So I got runner up, the third, or Harapan Tiga. And then yeah, 1 year later, all the hard work paid off because I got the first winner, LKT in University of Jember, and then also in Tanjung Pura, I got the first position. And then 2017, I think this is my golden year, where I granted with PKM penelitian and also with the third most outstanding student in University of 11 Maret. And 2018, I think few professors from Taiwan came to my university because they were seeking for potential student to be master's or PhD student. So at that time, I joined this program, and then I sit in front of my professor, right? And then I introduce myself, like, my name is Egy Aritama. Became the third most outstanding student in this university. I have several conference paper, and I like to join a master's program in National Chiao Tung University. And as long as I remember, it didn't take too long, like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then he wrote the paper mentioning my name here, and then master. So I got admission in National Central University. And then because my professor here moved to National Chiao Tung University, so as his student, I just follow him. So I moved along the way to National Chiao Tung University. And then that's, yeah, long story short, how I built legacy during undergrad to the master's. So now we've come to the fun part, study in Taiwan. So as I mentioned before, I was the part of laboratory of energy storage and electrochemistry because I love working in the laboratory. This is me working with glove box because the samples with the battery are normally sensitive to the outside environment. So you have to really keep the condition inside the glove box because yeah, inside the glove box you have argon gas, which is inert gas, so it will not affect the samples of your battery. And in Taiwan, you have a family because you are part of laboratory with one professor here, Professor Chang, and also some Indonesian student. There's lecturer from ITS, also from Brawijaya University, from Indian, Indian colleague from me, and also Taiwanese. And this is me during my thesis defense, or after my thesis defense. I defended my thesis in front of 4 professors or 5 professors. Normally for master student, we only have 3 professors. But in my case, I defended my thesis with 5 professors. And then, then all the hard work paid off because I can publish in highly reputable journal in Carbon as the first author with the impact factor of 9.5. This is really nice experience. So my milestones, if you ask me, then how can I land it in Taiwan? Yeah, I think the most important thing is because I have a prior experience in the field of berry, and my professor working in the berry field, so we have like match experience. That's why he interested in me. And then maybe he also convinced when I said I became the third most outstanding student in the university. And back then, during undergrad school, yeah, I got 2 conference paper. I don't think it's good paper, but it's enough for undergrad students. So it was about graphene, like electrochemical synthesis. Also, I got assessment of lithium ferrophosphate battery performance in standalone photovoltaic street light system. Both of them, I was not first author, just co-author, but this is enough to convince my professor. And then the question is, why is it Taiwan? Yeah, I think at first glance, I was looking for university in the Europe. I think it was Netherlands, but then Technical University of Delft was my first choice, but they need or they require IELTS as the English proficiency. And I think that's not really achievable at the moment because I don't want to wait anymore. So for me, Taiwan is like realistic choice because yeah, the requirements is only TOEFL PBT or paper-based test, where you can easily achieve because the requirement is not that high. And then how was it? Yeah, this is my professor's profile. So he got Edge index for 48, which is really high. And maybe you know that he's really ambitious. So I would say it was really good laboratory, really ambitious laboratory. And I does really like research topic. It's really interesting. And this professor keeps the student always on the track. Like he always push the student to move forward. That's why it's oftentimes he has a meeting with us in the middle of the night, and it's normal day in Taiwan. So with that hard work, I could publish paper as the first author in recognized journal. Right, so in Taiwan or maybe in the East Asian University like South Korea or Japan, we have like group meeting, I would say. We have 2 meetings, like group meeting and also personal meeting. And in group meeting, yeah, normally all the students in that laboratory come to in the one room, and then we have presentation, either literature studies and also making a progress report. And there was the time when my supervisor told me, and he made a presentation, and he really stressed us to learn certain techniques. During your masters, you have to learn certain techniques. In the battery field, we have a lot of characterization techniques. Let's say X-ray diffraction, X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy, scanning electron microscopy, and etc. And he really asks us to learn certain techniques because I think this is the opportunity for us to learn. And then he asks us to prepare whether we want to go for industry or maybe continue PhD and having a career in the academic. And then learn how to solve a problem, not only ask, because yeah, solve a problem is much more nice, yeah, compared to only ask. Because in the laboratory we also have a team, so he wants us to have a good teamwork. So in the laboratory normally we have like several hierarchy, like professor as the advisor, postdoc, PhD student, and then also master student. And then, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of characterization technique in the battery field. So don't just be an operator. Like for example, operator, that means you only do what you told to do. But for as a student, you should analyze your data. You have to treat your samples in a way that you can publish it. So do not just be an operator and plan your goals, what you want to do with this kind of characterization. And yeah, the last sentence that I remember is do something not average people can do. And maybe you will notice that with this sentence, yeah, he's really ambitious. Like he wants to push the students' limit until the limitation. Do something not average people can. So if I call back before, I already mentioned that I got published my first paper as the first author. So this is like the process. We have from text revision 0 until text revision 13. And it's actually got rejected, I don't know, maybe 5 times before it got published in Carbon Journal, which is still a good journals. And yeah, we had meeting in the middle of the night. Of course, not in the university, but through online call. So for me, what if I'm being asked what is special characteristic of higher education in Taiwan? I would say working hours. Yeah, like work as if there's no tomorrow. Like I don't know, maybe this is the characteristic in Taiwan. We have working hours. And for the research culture, I think this is one of the distinguished part with the European university because we have regular meeting. So I would say the dedication, the sincerity, and honesty clearly explain why Taiwan has provided the world with super scientific and technological advancement. Yeah, and this is 2 slides from my professor. So we have a group meeting and personal meeting. Personal meeting normally we have two weeks once, and also he really wants us because in the laboratory normally you have a lot of problem, right? And then he does not want us just to ask why this is failed, professor. No, he doesn't want to hear something like that. We have to analyze first why this problem comes from us and what is your thought, what is your plan, and what is the next. So we have to, if we have a problem, we have to analyze first and then we have to solve it by ourselves. Like if I would recap my master's in a nutshell, this is what people see: the rainbow, the colorful, the bright sky. But then what people don't see is that I had a lot of many failure, sacrifice, because being separated with family is not that easy. Hard work, like in the middle of the night, you got to working really hard. Dedication, yeah, it's not that easy working in Taiwan because I think the research culture quite different in Indonesia, where I don't know, maybe the pace is really fast, really quick. So only few people can compete with it. And if you are interested, I already write all the journey in my personal website. This is my blog, if you would not mind to see it. And then what comes after masters? Like I finished my master in 2 years, I was really keen to have a job like in industry, obviously in Taiwan. Because I'm more into research and development, where in Indonesia and that's not possible because in Indonesia, I would say we are still in the manufacturing level. So I was really keen to have a job or looking for industrial job, but at some point I know that I will do PhD. So I start applying for one industrial job, but I got countless rejection. Like one application I got failed, and then I moved with 5 failed application, and then I got like 20. So at that point I was thinking maybe PhD is the best choice for me, and I stopped looking PhD in Europe because I don't want to have PhD in Taiwan with work-life balance consideration. In Taiwan, I think it's unlikely if you want to have work-life balance consideration because during masters I know that I will get married, so I will put my family first rather than work. So European university, it's like the only good option for me. And if you would like to know further, PPI Taiwan already have interview with me. So it took me 243 application. That's combined with industrial application and also PhD application until I landed. So one point that I would like to mention here is that if you got rejection, that does not mean that you are not good enough. That means that the requirements that I don't know. That means that your qualification just does not match with the requirements, right? That's not because you are not good enough. So yeah, finally I got position in the mid. So if you would like to watch, you can search with the this keyword or maybe this link. Right. So I would mention in brief the comparison for doing PhD in Taiwan and Germany. For PhD, as a PhD in Taiwan, it's a student, so you got scholarship to live there. But in Germany, I'm sorry for that. For in Germany, PhD student treated as a professional employee. So you got paid, you got salary, which is really nice. And for the duration in Taiwan, normally you will have 4 until 5 years or maybe more, depending on the professor. And in Germany, the contract is strictly up to 3 years. So in 3 years, you have to finish. So you will get the degree or not, the contract only 3 years, cannot be extended. If it can, maybe only 6 months. And then for the facilities, in Taiwan, we have really good facilities. We have everything in there, but that's belong to the university. But in Germany, as in my case, because we are a research institute, so the facility is even more advanced. So we have like more complete and more sophisticated tool for research style. In Taiwan, normally you will do your PhD under strict guidance from advisor. So you will do what he told you to do. But in Germany, it's more like independent research. You can do whatever you want to do, and your advisor only will support you, but not like told you to do something like a must. But and then for working hour, I think in Taiwan or other East Asian university, maybe you have 9 to 5, 9 to 6, or maybe 9 to unlimited, depend on the laboratory. But in the Germany, it's unlikely. You can come to the office or the laboratory, and you cannot come to the office. And that's why I'm saying in Germany, you will have so-called work-life balance. And for the graduation requirement in Taiwan, the department, for example, in material science in my university, they require you to publish at least 2 papers, but maybe the professor will have more requirement, for example, 3, 4, or maybe even 5 papers. And then you also have to write the thesis. But in Germany, it does not necessarily to have publication, although maybe your supervisor have expectation, but there is no such thing. And for graduation, you need only to write thesis. That's it. And I think what my thought is that when it comes to the PhD, I think university or the country where you study doesn't really matter. Because the most matter is in which lab you're working on or who is your supervisor. That's, I think, the most important thing. All right, so this is approaching my end of my presentation. For the remarks, people can say anything about you. Like maybe you see this arrow. This is people from the outside. They can think whatever they want to think about you. But at the end of the day, you are the king of your life. You have to decide your own path. So stop caring about people and then decide what you want to do. Maybe people will say, you are not good enough. You will never achieve this thing, that thing, but don't give, I don't know. Stop caring about what people think about you. Right? So again, thank you for your attention. I would bring back the time and the place to the moderator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Egy. Thank you for joining this Millennial Talks. I know that we have 6 hours different time, and and I hope you didn't get bothered by this event. There's some interesting point, Mr. Egy, about your presentation. You said that you failed the 243 application to get the MEET because that's kind of new reality for me, because some of us might think that if you already accepted in, for example, like master in abroad, then you have a bigger chance to get the easily get the application or scholarship for your further study. But it is really interesting to know that it's still there are some challenges to get that, Mr. Egi.
Yeah, that's correct. Anyway, but I don't know where to start. But for National Chiao Tung University, normally you will be really easy to get for industrial job in Taiwan. But in my case, I don't speak Chinese. Maybe that's the consideration for those companies not accepting me. So I think the language is one of the most important thing. And I don't know, maybe that's not my luck, and maybe that's not my destiny to have job there in Taiwan. So I keep applying until I got this position in Germany. So again, my point is that if you got rejection, that does not mean that you are not good enough. Maybe the requirements of the job itself just like don't match with your skills. I think that's the point that I would like to stress out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Egi, for your explanation about both from Taiwan and Germany. It is very interesting for us because we have an insight from two continents, whether from Asia and Europe. So I will give the floor to the audience. Perhaps the audience has a question for Mr. Egi. Once again, as this is the Millennial Talks, we encourage all of you to raise your own voice. Again, as Mr. Egi said, you are the king of yourself, so don't be shy to ask the question or to address your point of view.
Excuse me, can
Yes?
I have a question?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you for your uh, great explanation, Mr. Egi Aditama. And I have a question. Is there any mandatory for masters from previous time for you, or in recent time for as PhD student to manage or to do characterization for yourself, or we just give our sample to the engineer?
Right. Thank you, Rehan, for the question. I think during your masters, if you are taking masters in Taiwan, you have the responsibility to do everything on your own. So, for example, you would like to have SAM characterization, then you have to do that on your own. But also, if you don't want to, you can ask like technician or the operator to do that. But then you know your sample best, so I would say it's best to take the characterization on your own. And also in Germany, normally our institute, we have our own characterization technique. So the student have to learn to use that. So we will measure the samples on our own. And it's really easy. I know in Indonesia, maybe we have some difficulties, need to send samples here and there, and then it takes quite a long time, and maybe the images that we want is not that good. So we have no choice other than using that. I know, but in Taiwan and in Germany, we don't have that kind of problem because you simply measure the samples on your own, and it takes like 1 or 2 hours, and that's it. You got the data you can analyze on your own.
Okay. Thank you for your answer, Mr. Egi. And maybe for the next question, I still interest. I mean, interest in funding. How about in previous in Taiwan and Germany? I mean, is it possible if I mean, or not? Is it we care about the funding for ourselves for PhD student? Because for master we just do the research, but in PhD student we just do the research and the paper, but for the funding we how we must to do just apply
Right.
or
Okay, so in Taiwan, normally you will get scholarship, and the source of the scholarship can comes from two sources, like university or maybe from the laboratory. So you will like survive with that scholarship. And then in Germany, especially for PhD, normally you are employed as the professional researcher. So you got paid, you got salary, and with that salary, you will live your life. So I would say you no need to worry about the money or the scholarship, something like that. If you got the scholarship in Taiwan, or maybe you got PhD position in Germany. But yeah, I would say, yeah, from the amount, I would say in Germany, you will get more money because you are a professional researcher. So you got paid, you got salary, nothing to worry about.
but is it big difference between postdoc and PhD student?
Yeah, it's a big difference because PhD still you need the degree, but for postdoc you already got the degree. That means like from the career perspective, like postdoc is in a way higher than PhD degree. So you got more salary, you also got I don't know, more networking, something like that.
Thank you for your answer.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rehan, Mr. Egi. Perhaps we shall proceed to the next agenda, which is discussion. In this discussion, we once again encourage all of the audience to actively ask or share their opinions, or maybe just sharing with our speaker today. And some of the question could be addressed by one of them or three of them. Okay. Okay, first of all, I would like to invite all of the speaker, Mr. Fahmi, Mr. Rido, and Mr. Egi to join this session. Okay, Mr. Fahmi already there, Mr. Rido. Okay, once again, we would like to encourage all the audience to once again actively participate by asking question, or even the speaker could raise a question to the another speaker about the opportunity, the experience that maybe both have the some common problems, so on and so forth. Okay, first, perhaps I would begin with some basic question, gentlemen, Fahmi, Mr. Egi. As we know, facing the pandemics, as the millennials or even a student, we're facing some kind of the pace of life that start with questioning what about the future, what kind of further step that we took, we how that we could face it. I mean, some of us could questioning our career path or ours, whether we go to the job or even continue our study, how to really enhance that. I mean, to choose which one of the priority. I mean, what kind of consideration that you take in mind for Mr. Fahmi to continuing his study, or Mr. Egi or Mr. Rido? Maybe start from Mr. Fahmi.
All right. So yeah, actually I'm facing the same issue as you two about the pandemic, like questioning about my career in Indonesia, or maybe continuing as a researcher. And currently I still don't have an clear answer. But well, I think I'm just gonna go with the flow. For example, like where it is going, and also I will weigh about not the consequences on the future also. For example, like if you're gonna take the researcher and do PhD, you will have like 4 years of the how do you say that, 4 years of commitment into the career for the PhD side. So if you want to do PhD outside, you need to leave your family and other stuff, and you need to wait properly and think what is the consequence later, and also the advantage and disadvantage of both of them. So just simply weigh your consequence later, and later on you can decide which one is the best for you. And currently for me, the best is doing career in Indonesia, but maybe later on as I progress in the future, I'm thinking about taking PhD to improve my career. Thank you. It's still pretty hard for me too.
Thank you, Mr. Fahmi, and good luck for you. Mr. Rido, are you there? Okay, maybe we continue to Mr. Egi.
Yeah, I think we are in the midst of the pandemic, and it does really affect our life. So my advice, if we want to choose our career path, I think should not far from the energy sector, or maybe food, or maybe water, because those three sectors are like the main or the most critical sectors all over the world. Like we are seeking for renewable energy, we are seeking for the food, we are seeking for the clean water. I think as long as you are stick in those paths, I think yeah, your future may be brighter than other sector. And for me, um, I have an option for industrial or academic. That's depend also on my wife, because I also have to consider her career. Yeah, but definitely I will just stick in the berry field.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Egi. So to the all audience, do you have any question?
May I?
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Subhan, for the opportunity. Hello, Mr. Egi and also Mr. Fahmi. It's good to learn from you, from your perspective about the research in Taiwan and also in South Korea. And I'm really impressed with all of your insight, and I think it's truly inspiring for me personally. And actually, I have two questions for Mr. Egi and one question for Mr. Fahmi. Is it possible, Mr. Subhan?
Yeah.
All right. So I will start with Mr. Egi first, Mr. Fahmi. Mr. Egi, I think you have great experience during your bachelor degree, master degree, and now you pursued for your PhD. And my first question is about your work culture there. Is it possible if we become a PhD student or maybe work as a researcher in Germany, we have a side job maybe? And then the second one, it's personally, if you don't mind to answer it, then we'll be fine. It's about your next step. Now you have great experience there, and you have a great position with the great infrastructure there. So what's your next plan? I mean, you want to stay on there, or you come back to Indonesia and build up our nation from the inside. And the question for Mr. Fahmi is about your point of view about the research in Indonesia. What should we do as a youth, especially to encourage the research, the word research in Indonesia? Because as we know that we still have a problem with the research itself in Indonesia. Thank you.
Right. I think I have to answer first. Thank you, Wahyu, for the question. The first question, would that be possible if you would like to have a side job? First of all, as PhD, that means you are professional researchers. That means you got paid and then you got salary. And from the contract, you have like 60 hours from the 100% job. That means you still be able to do part-time job, but only 40%, not more than that. That's really depend on the contract. If you only have 50% contract, then you can have 50 other percent for the side job. But for job like cleaning and something like that, I think there is no rules. So you can do whatever you want. But then I would say salary from PhD, it's more than enough for you to live here. And also you even can send money to your family, for example, in Indonesia. I think it's quite more than enough, I would say. And the second question is that what is the next step for me? I haven't decided yet, but definitely for me at the moment, I cannot thinking to go back to Indonesia. Maybe I will stay here for maybe 3 years or maybe more. That's really depend. Maybe still there's possibility to go back to Indonesia. That's depend. And I don't know, maybe if there is a good offer, then I will go back. But if it's not, then maybe I will just stay here for some years.
So, Mr. Wahyu, thank you for question, but could you please repeat one more time?
Yeah, it's about your own perspective about the youth, the role of the youth in our research work in Indonesia. I mean, what could we do as a researcher, as a junior researcher maybe, that could be encouraged in our research work in Indonesia, especially in research development?
So what could we do as a researcher to
Yep.
encourage the research in Indonesia, right? Yeah, so for myself, I think Indonesia has a lot of potential to be one of the best in Asian, at least. So as Professor Effie said earlier, we have a good demography, and also we have a good also facility and also research too. No, I mean, sorry, we have a good research too, but we are, as you may know, that we are lacking of the facility that we have. So if we have like a good facility for the researcher to do research, and also a good system such as similar as Mr. Egi said in the Germany, like you don't need to send the sample to the other institution and wait for a long time. I think it will be better for us. Basically, for me, I would advise like for the system and also the facility. But for the encouragement for the researcher itself, I think the best way to learn a research is from the reading paper. So I do understand that we may not have a lot of research, a lot of facility in Indonesia, such as sophisticated machine on other stuff. But once we learn the paper and we read everything, I think we can be at the same level as the other researcher. So as Mr. Egi said previously, like it doesn't matter where you are. What matters is what is your research. So basically, like if you're interested in something, try dig in many research paper that is kind of like very new research paper. For example, like the one that just published in US or other kind of document. There are a lot of ways to find it in Google Scholars or in the other website. So just read a lot of paper and apply it in the simple way in Indonesia, and then I think we can be one of the best researcher in Indonesia and also in the world. That's my opinion about the researcher. So this is why I think. So just read.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I have Jackie for one question more, Mr. Subhan? Right. Thank you. Mr. Fahmi, previously you said that one of one of the window or one of the door to become one of the greatest maybe researcher or scientist is we need to have an initiative to read several papers or many inventions from the world of science itself. So, but the problem is in Indonesia we are tend to not to have reading time much at the time. So do you have any tips or maybe tricks that we need to have a high endurance to read more papers and to understand more about the concept itself? It's also for Mr. Egi also would be
Okay.
encouraged.
So you're asking me how to build the endurance, right? To read
Yeah,
paper.
to read a lot of papers through.
Oh, so basically I also have the same problem with you.
All right.
So yeah, usually I just read like a small novel or something like that. So yeah, it's not really thing. But anyway, so for my side of story, all right. So for me, the first thing is like you need to find your own interest. So if you're interested in energy, go find the paper that you really like. And then if you're interested in the thing, you just read paper again, and you will find reading paper is actually really, really, how do you say that, enjoyable. I can say that. So like you never realize that you read like 10 or 5 or 10 paper every day if you really enjoy it. And like I do understand that there are a lot of difficulty and like not many people like to read paper, but you can train yourself by starting from the one paper, read it properly, not just read it like not just read it, how do you say that, just not just scan it, but read it properly from the beginning at the end. And usually to read paper, for me itself, like the key point is always in the abstract and conclusion. So if you really want to read it really fast, read the first two of the side, like the abstract and also the conclusion. Like after reading both of them, like if it's really into your topic, start reading the discussion or maybe the result and discussion, and see the result. And if it's really what you want, then, and if it's really what you want to copy in your research or experiment, start reading the experiment and also introduction. So this is how I read paper usually, because like as you may know that like sometimes there are a lot of paper that you really want to read, but the problem is like you don't really have time to read it, right? Like you have a lot of experiment and other stuff going on. So what I do is usually I find the abstract and the conclusion. So that save up really a lot of time, because from the abstract and conclusion itself, you can see that whether that paper is really related to our experiment or not. If it's really related, then go for it and study the experiment side, like how you do it. So like starting from that one, I start reading one paper every day for when I was master. And then after that, after 1 month or 2 months, I start 2 or 3. And at the end of my master, I read like 5, I think, around 5, 3 to 5, I can read it. But it's kind of slow still. I feel like it's slow because my Korean friend usually 10 on that. They're really fast. But yeah, you can do it slowly on that.
Well,
Thank
that's
you.
good habit, I think, Mr. Fahmi. Thank you very much. Mr. Egi, do you have any addition tips regarding a bunch of paper?
Yeah, I think from my side, not much different with Fahmi. But one tips is that maybe you can name your paper in a way that you would understand more. For example, in Barry, you have like a lot of categories, and then you can separate each paper based on the topic. For example, you are interested in the anodes, then you can like make a categorize in the anode in a way that you will understand more. So you will remember, oh, this paper exactly telling about this. And if you need this information, then you can just simply open this folder. And maybe you can also use the proper referencing software like EndNote or other referencing stuff. That would be really easier for you to organize the paper. And again, read, and read. I think that's the key, and you cannot think out of it. I think reading the most important thing, like the basic skills for you if you want to be a researcher, no matter in what level you are, maybe in master's or PhD. I think reading paper, I think one of the most important yet basic skills.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Egi and Mr. Fahmi, for your answers. That's quite good. Mr. Sudan?
Thank you, Mr. Wahyu, for the question, and thank you for Mr. Fahmi and Mr. Egi. it is really our concern to be balanced in our study as well as to work, especially in abroad, that we have another consideration to, to live our life there, and especially in the master or research, we have to have another publication or journal. So I know it is such an output that we all want to have in our study. So thank you for the answer, Mr. Fahmi and Mr. Egi. Perhaps my question might be both of, or maybe Mr. Rido as well, have experience to live and study abroad. We know that Indonesia has a bonus of demography in which we are have a resource in millennials. From your perspective, what kind of suggestion for the government to really accommodate this this power? I mean, this capability of our researcher, for our millennials to have a great career, to have a promising not only job but a promising future in Indonesia, from your perspective, Mr. Egi?
From my perspective, I think you should not rely on others, including government, but you have to rely on your own. You have to learn everything on your own, because yeah, I think at the end of the day, you decide what your destiny. For example, if you are still in undergrad school, you have to learn the basic skills in a way that after graduation, you will not confuse anymore which paths you want to take. Like, for example, you have to know the end goal of your life. And with that goal, maybe you can take step that can achieve those goals. For example, you want to have master's or PhD, so start from early of bachelor degree, then you have to achieve this goal. For example, join scientific competition or doing some internship. I think that will be really helpful for you. I think that's one thing that you can do. And yeah, bonus demography in one side could be positive, also in other side could be also negative if this demography is not used as it is. So we have to really careful about that.
Thank you, Mr. Egi. And Mr. Fahmi?
Well, I will have the same opinion as Mr. Egi. Like, yes, I do understand that we are lacking on several things compared to the Germany or maybe South Korea or China, but I think it depends on ourselves again. If we join a lot of international conference or international event, I think we can take it as an advantage of us. And also, I see a lot of Indonesian students in Korea who's very successful and better than Korean student itself or other international student too. So basically, it depends on ourselves again, and depends on depends on our skill too also. So I have no comment about the government. I think I have no comment about this thing because I've never experienced anything in here about how the research and also how does the facility in Indonesia. So yes, I think my comment will be the same as Mr. Regi about that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fahmi. So both it start from ourselves, from Mr. Egi, from Mr. Fahmi. To everyone, Mr. Egi, Mr. Fahmi, thank you for your time in joining the Millennial Talks. And now we will continue to the certificate of appreciation that will be given by Professor Dr. Renat Evi Kartini. To Professor Dr. Renat Evi Kartini, the time is yours.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. Okay. First of all, thank to give the share and knowledge to Millennial Talk today. Yeah. To Mr. Muhammad Fahmi Rahman, BSc, MSc. Yeah. That your experience, your share, your knowledge really, really helpful for, especially for the millennial who attend this event, and also I believe some also attending through the YouTube. Yeah. So once again, thank you, and then yeah, keep with us. Okay. We need still your advice how to make NBRI grow up. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm honored to be given an opportunity to be here again. Thank you also for the professor and Mr. Suban.
Okay, for the next speaker, I give to our really bright and brilliant also research assistant and NBRI, yes, Muhammad Ridho Nugraha, ST, yeah, who has given the experience and in his study and experience and how to become the researcher, become the research assistant, and then no, I think he did also a lot of things, yeah, in NBRI. I should mention here that we just finished with the international school on battery electric vehicle, where he became the person in charge, and it was great successful. Once again, thank you to Mr. Ridho, yes, for the excellent talk. Where is Ridho? Yeah.
Apologies, Prof. Effie. We believe Mr. Ridho has a technical issue regarding the signal.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's not the problem. I should say. Last week I was invited by the Department of Electro in UGM, and you know what happened? So my home signal weak, and I use the phone, but actually both of weak. So I was lost, and then yeah, that is a problem. Sometimes this is the problem of the online, yeah, depending on the internet. Okay, for the third that I will give to appreciation on behalf of the NBRI to Mr. Egy Aditama, BSMS, that who already given the experience while he was studying in Taiwan, and no, good luck also for your PhD study in Germany. So you follow me, I think, yeah. Yes,
Thank you.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I saw your list. Two things, okay. The time in Germany, just, well, it's up to you, okay. More fun, okay.
Yeah, it's
and
my
independent.
pleasure. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
my pleasure.
and independent. That is independent. It means that you should decide what you want, and you can finish anytime. But so you have, you have to, at the beginning, you have to know what is your goal. Yeah, because your supervisor will not come to you and then will not ask you. That's different with the other Asian. So I experience with that. Yeah,
That's correct. For example, in Taiwan, maybe I will see my professor 3 times in a day, but here in Germany, you will see the supervisor like once in 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks.
Oh, that's great. 1 and 2 weeks. When I was there, maybe once in a month is good. Sometimes I meet the other country with my supervisor.
I feel you.
So even the German also said to me, the German student said when I met him in once a month, and then he said that you were lucky. I've been here for 6 months. I never met.
Okay. Yeah, that's
so
common.
whatever. Life is just different from one country to the other. Yeah. Well, this is because sharing experience. I may share also one thing. Yes. When so I live. Well, I stay in Germany and in Canada almost 10 years. Okay. So the two different, yes, the two different. But what the same is that with the time it's just flexible. Yeah, And then with the supervisor, just they make us independent. Yeah, in US rather different. Yeah, they mostly just they supervise, really supervise. Okay, European maybe just different. And when I and in Germany we have to return at 5. You know, yeah.
Exactly.
Why? Because the supermarket will close at 6.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you cannot get the food. Yeah. But that is the thing. That's how we had for hurry up. Yeah. Okay. And when I went to Japan after I graduate, I was invited and stayed there for 6 months. I was so shocked because they work until 11 o'clock until sometime midnight, still in the office. At the beginning, I was at the beginning I was there, yeah, but finally I could not, I couldn't carry on that. And then so I met the person who invited me, and so I said to him, well, what shall I do? What is the target? So I want to do, because Saturday is my time, so I will not stay the whole time, but the most important, effective. So finally, they allow me. Of course, I cannot just different, yeah. Maybe from in Korea, yeah, like Mr. Fahmi mentioned. So every country have a different culture, yeah. But the most important, all have to have the research goal with different kind of way, yeah. Okay, once again, thank you for everybody here, Mr. Fahmi, Mr. Rido, Mr. Egi, and all the participants, and especially also to our PIC and moderator, Subhan. Thank you for arranging this. I'm sure this will be very, very important for all us. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Evi. But before we continue, we would like to request to all of the audience to turn on the video and camera, because we would like to take a picture together. Okay. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, once again, apology. Once again, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, once again, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you, everyone. The next would be the closing remarks from Prof. Evi, and would be continue with our MC. To Prof. Evi, the virtual stage is yours.
Okay, so I think I've mentioned before that all what you share today is for the millennial, yes, and then because the millennial will take the lead for our country in the future, so you have to start right now. Okay, dream about what we're gonna make for the country. So I think millennial play important role. Yeah, don't leave all this. You have to change. Yeah, because the world will change. If you don't change, the world will change, whether you like or not. Disruption already happened. My question is only one thing. Yeah, whether you will see the change, ignore it today and see the change, what happened, or you want to plan the change, or you make the change by yourself. So I think you have to be the actor of changing in the world for today. Yes. Okay. So if something changes in the next couple of years, you make the change, and you are part of that. Of course, the change to become better world. Okay. Once again, thank you for all of the participants, the millennial. Keep spirit, yes, reach your goal, reach your dream. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for Prof. Evi for such a very insightful closing remark. And also I would like to say thank you so much for all of the speaker, Mr. Fahmi, and also Mr. Egi, and also our lovely team, Mr. Rido, which is an apologize because he has a trouble during the internet problems. So we almost finished our event today. Therefore, please allow me to read, as Prof. Evi mentioned before, that we're gonna have several events following, which is the first we have NBRI Youth Idea competitions, and previously we have international webinar material for sustainability strategy and circular economy on 10th and 17 and 18, which is just a few days ago. We have an international school on battery and electric vehicles, or ISBEF 2021. And today we have the first Millennial Talks, which is a researcher career hacks, learn the best from the East with our tremendous speakers. And then the next on 23rd, which is within a few days later, we will have a very interesting topics. And it's gonna be with also the international expert, which will be discussed about international workshop on solar rooftop residential and utility scale. And on this workshop, you will learn more about renewable energy, especially on the solar panel with our lovely experts. And on 27, we will have the second Millennial Talks, which will be showing on the Instagram. And on the 1st and 2nd of December, we will have another international workshop on materials and advanced characterizations, or IMEC 2021. On 14 to 16, this is the biggest events of the NBRI, which is International Conference on Advanced Materials and Technology, or ICHAM 2021. And then this is it, the NBRI first anniversary. So for all of you, which is not being an our member, we would be more than happy to have you as a member of the NBRI and keep update about our event on the NBRI social media, such as Instagram, website, LinkedIn, and so on. You can see here that we have a Instagram at nbri.indonesia and the website www.an-bri.org. We also have TikTok as well, which is very insightful there. And on the website, you can just simply register yourself and you will get lots of benefit from us. So all of the participants who attend this event, I would like to say thank you so much. And don't forget to fill out the attendance link to get the certificate, which already shared by our committee on the chat box. So that's all from me. Thank you so much. Have a nice day and see you on the next event. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.
Have a nice day.
See you. Have a nice day. Thank you, everyone.